What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your pre-market watch list. Couple crazy stocks going around this morning, as they are every single morning. So appreciate you guys tuning in. What we have to cover today is the stock DOGZ. We'll take a look at CLPS. We can look at LODE. CCIV. And SKT. So what we're going to do is pretty much just go over all the really popular hot stocks everyone's really been watching over this past day or so. All right, so first one we'll talk about here is DOGZ. Okay, 1 second. Just make sure this chart is good. Okay. So looking here at, let's say, the 1 minute chart on DOGZ, it's debatable whether or not this is really going to be good. So if you look at the screen on the right, put a little horizontal price level here at 349, just over this blue trend line, okay? Then we're going to change the time frame here to a 4-hour time frame, and we're going to put a little level here at 377, all right? So what you'll come to find is today, DOGZ essentially goes up, breaks through the long-term levels that we just showed you on the screen on the right, breaks up all the way to $7.26, and then it sells all the way down to where this red line, which is the long-term trend, then it bounces. So we're starting to hold support right in this 377. So if you're watching DOGZ today and you're debating whether or not to watch this long bias, ideally you would be looking for the market to hold this 370 price, this 378-ish price, and then see if it holds and goes long, to even down here to 349, see if it holds and goes long. And by the time market opens, this trend line down here of 316 will probably catch up to somewhere around 350, maybe 375. So right now on DOGZ, the only way for this to really continue moving bullish in the immediate is for the market to sustain the support around 376 here and then push off. Now, the nice thing about the support pre-market is that it's actually a long-term trend line, right? So it's not just some random price point, which they usually never are. But if you don't know how to find these price points, then you might just kind of think that it's just a random price that people started to buy the stock. It's the market's usually not random. So we fall all the way down to this long-term trend, hold support. So if in the event DOGZ market holds the support around 378 and or this 347, we might have a long play there. All right, the only problem with this one is it doesn't really have any news. So it's like, meh, okay. All right, next one on the list that we'll touch on is CLPS. So CLPS really just boomed this morning. It's going into a sell-off here pre-market. So for the time being, this isn't really a long bias stock. It's more of a selling stock. So for right now, if you're looking for something to maybe be a little bearish on, we're currently bearish to stock. We've been trading at short bias since up here at 1175 into basically 13. This was our bearish zone. So we're already underway on the bearish play. Statistical trend is all the way down at 764. So it's possible we'll see this roll all the way out and sell down to about 750 this morning. That's a possible trade on the bear side. All right, now over to LODE. So LODE was another big one today. I actually kind of got a little chopped around here because I was being short, and then I flipped long. And then I actually shorted here, got squeezed, and shorted here, and I'm still short. So been a back and forth seesaw for me on LODE this morning, but nonetheless, this is another candidate to keep on watch. You can see it as clearly broken out. There's news that, mining stock soars more than fourfold after taking stake in lithium-ion battery recycler. So this is pretty popular right now. Everything having to do with batteries, recycling of batteries, EV, all that mixed in gives LODE the potential to continue on the long side. For now, we're slightly bearish, until we kind of see it base out enough. So LODE, good news, ion, recycling, battery, blah, 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 EV market related stuff. This looks decent for now. We're currently short, but we're kind of waiting for the statistical trend to catch up, which is at 638. So we could even potentially roll all the way down to 638 before bouncing on LODE. So we're kind of playing this one by ear and just watching as the time goes on. All right. Next one we'll look at is SKT. So SKT was kind of the number one stock on our watch list yesterday. This one just went through a gigantic rip. I would like to say that this is going to sell down a little more. That being said, we could totally see this have a little long to start the day and then see it get sold into. So this is something that I'm probably going to be watching on the bear side, but first maybe watching long. So maybe look for a long move to start the day on SKT and then a selling move. So that's kind of how I'm thinking this might play out. And if it does, then maybe I'll be a part of it. If it just instantly rolls down and just flops over, maybe I won't. So for now, we're looking for kind of a long bounce move. And then maybe see the market on SKT get sold into. All right, next one on the list, CCIV. We'll talk about. So CCIV exploded yesterday. Somebody asked me about this stock in our chat room a couple days ago. I said, yeah, it looks good for a long. Well, that was down at 32. Here we are at 55. If you look at the chart on the right, we are on resistance. Okay, this means CCIV is on resistance. Okay, that's why it stopped there yesterday. You see how it ran? Look at this, right? You see where this blue line's at? And let me make it a little more accurate, right? So I'm gonna you see that little blue trend line? Let's put our price level over it, right? And look where the stock stopped yesterday. It ran right here, dink down, dink down, dink down. Today, we're just barely holding over. So if this market wants to go higher on CCIV, it's got to continue sustaining these prices, which right now is probably not a bad buy point for CCIV long, considering we just came off a support hold. So your stop loss is fairly, nearby. So limited risk here, somewhat. So CCIV, not bad. Again, for it to go higher, it has to continue sustaining over the price of 53.66, 53.70s for right now. So we're on resistance. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. On the daily chart, we're over the resistance, which means we're overbought. And so for the people that are bearish to stock, their target right now is back down to $47 and below. CCIV could go up to $70, $80, $90, $100, but that still doesn't change the fact that it's overbought, right? So then the target would still be back down to 47, which is actually incorrect because if the market did move to 100 here on CCIV, then the standard deviation for the stock would actually increase, creating a larger range. Therefore, 47 might become 50, 70, 60. But any bit of overboughtness over the 3 deviation mark normally means a retrace of that market back below the blue line. So right now, momentum is still kind of to the upside in CCIV, so that's the way I'd probably go about watching that stock. All right, next one on the list is going to be NEO. Just want to touch on NEO for a second. If you guys follow the channel, closely, you'll know that we were talking yesterday saying that the market would have to sustain this trend line on NEO for the bullish pattern to continue working out. You can see we broke over, squeezed, then we ended up closing below. So that tells us that this current flag that we're seeing on NEO is still not quite ready, okay? So we might need some more time, let it get bought back up again, or it just might overall fail. So kind of on a sluggish downward move for, NEO for the time being. And that's really the watch list for today, guys. I hope you guys like it. I hope you learned something new. I hope this helps guide you throughout the day a little bit. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next watch list. Take care.